Hello, everybody. My name is Jack Sessions, and I have a very special and awesome friend of mine. And today, we're just going to be talking about, the world of cybersecurity and just what's on our minds in this crazy, crazy time of the 24th of June, 2025. So, without further ado, do you want to take it from here?
Hi Jack,
Hello.
nice to hear you. Nice to see you again.
Yes, it is.
How's it going?
It's going well. Finishing up a couple of cybersecurity certifications. I submitted to a couple of conferences, particularly Canberra B-Sides and Canberra and B-Sides Sydney. And yeah, it's
Cool.
been it's been a productive week. But
Okay. So, what we will share with our guests today?
mm,
Do
see,
you have any ideas?
I do have a couple. I did see a really interesting article that there was a lot of cyber attacks coming out within the last 2 to 3 weeks, and there was like what 18 billion records exposed, which is just insane, right? 100%. And then I read further into the article, and it says that 90% of them happened 6 to 9 months ago, but it's just now we're finding out about it, and
Yeah,
it's just crazy. Like I remember a
yeah,
time where the only real issue that I had to worry about was getting scammed on Skype or Club Penguin, right? Now there's, malware and ransomware and whatnot, like just insane.
yeah. I see the same huge increase of those attacks,
Hmm.
and uh, the last one I think that happened in Canada.
Hmm.
They mentioned like some Chinese group like Salty Typhoon compromised and got access to millions of opt-in customers in Canada. Uh, and all, as you remember, we discussed on some of our previous talks, know what happened in the United States of America, right? So here is a question to mobile operators: what they're doing that they cannot protect?
Yeah.
Do they really have any firewalls, or they expect that everyone will buy some subscription license for antivirus or security?
So me particularly, because I'm a mobile security researcher, this kind of hits a little closer to home for most people. And I think the biggest issue when it comes to the mobile operators, whether that be, here in Australia, so we have like Optus and Telstra, or in Europe, I know that Vodafone is a massive company, as well as in the US, you have AT&T and Verizon and whatnot, right? The biggest issue is security, by its very definition, is designed to be a cost center. It's never really designed to make you money, just secure what's already there, right? And we see this time and time again with companies wanting to hire developers rather than security people until it's too late. And one example is Uber, right? They were a victim of a ransomware attack just a couple of years ago, and now they're hiring a whole bunch of security staff. And the same is true within the mobile space, right? If not even more, because yes, companies are getting better, I would say, from 2021 onwards in the mobile space, but before it was just god awful. Like, I remember when I would do a mobile security test on an application, and I'd find like 6 to 7 different criticals in the first hour of testing, and they would be like, "Oh, that's fine, you know, it's meant to happen," or "We're meant to be able to send our debugging keys into production, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, who is your developers? And the same is true with the mobile networks, right? They want to cut costs and they want to ideally put that onto the consumer, because ultimately, if the consumer has to pay for better security, or if better yet, companies can blame the consumer, well, it's a win win, especially on the company's eyes. So there's not really a need beyond a legislative standpoint to actually have companies be fined and investigated for security related breaches, because we've had that for the past probably 15 years now at this point, ever since the introduction of the GDPR. And in Australia, I know that our domestic security services have done a fantastic job at really ramping up the rate of cybersecurity and just understanding, right? Because I remember being in school and there was a week-long campaign on cyber awareness and phishing and ransomware and whatnot, and they would bring in an expert into the school and we would ask them questions and whatnot. That's actually one of the reasons why I now work in cybersecurity. But yeah, I mean, to answer your question, uh, it's a
Yeah, I
multifaceted
have
issue.
I have one quick question.
Please.
I believe it will be interesting for our listeners.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you have like a new device,
Yep.
like a smartphone,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you are interested to protect your uh, private data, especially your mobile applications like you use
Mm-hmm.
for the payments online, your cards, bank cards, credit cards, right? The same crypto wallets.
Mm-hmm.
So, will you use SMS for OTP for one-time password, or will you use any application, any multi-factor
Mm-hmm.
MFA, or what can you recommend
So
from your experience?
yeah, so kind of two things I want. Well, three things I want to get into that point. Number one is the ease of use argument. When it comes to one-time passwords, we can all agree incredibly easy to use. Just copy them and enter it into your application or whatever that's requesting it, right?
Right?
The main issue is we're seeing a massive increase in SIM swap attacks over the last probably 10 years now, since about 2013, 2015, where they really started to ramp up.
So,
And
sorry, Jay,
yes,
let's explain what is SIM swap.
yeah,
I am sure someone
yep,
has no
100%.
idea what is it.
Yeah, so effectively, what a SIM swap attack is say you're an attacker and you want to get access to my calls, my texts, whatever, just the record of being able to impersonate me to my cell carrier and network, right? So
Okay,
whether I'm out in public or you come over to my house or whatever, right? You would then take out my SIM card, clone it, and then put it back in. And this process can be done in a matter of seconds, or you don't even have to clone it. You can simply just take it. And then the next device that you put it into, the network registers that SIM card as me owning that device on the network, right? Because
yeah, yeah,
it's
right.
it's a very yeah, go.
So let's say I am like actor,
Mm-hmm.
bad guy, interested to rob some one bank accounts, and I know that it's very easy to clone that SIM card, right?
Yep.
I am cloning someone's SIM card, then what I do, I am sending, like, I don't remember my password, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I am sending a reminder to this cloned SIM card,
Mm-hmm.
compromised SIM card,
Yep.
and I receive SMS. So with one-time password, and I am logging in
Mm-hmm.
this bank application, and then I can do everything I want, like transfer all money,
Yep.
increase credit limit, everything.
Yep.
Same if I am hacking any messenger, like the most popular Telegram, WhatsApp, Viber,
Mm-hmm.
same Signal or any other, and I have full access to list of contacts.
Mm-hmm.
I can send some generated with AI
Yep.
video, voice,
Oh yeah.
and ask, can you send me some money, small amount, like maybe a few dollars, a few euros,
Mm-hmm.
and they will send because they trust this is their contact, right?
Yeah.
So how they can protect all those messengers also, if they will be interested to avoid SMS as a one-time password. So maybe they can do it somehow
Well,
with any other software.
yeah. So I kind of want to just real quickly answer your original question, which what do you recommend for security-based authentication? Number one
Yeah,
thing,
please.
uh, get a hardware-based token. So whether that's a YubiKey or whether that's a physical one that you carry or make yourself, because they're actually incredibly easy to make. And then you use them to generate it. I know if you're on Linux, there's a couple of terminal based ones that automatically use your clock and CPU security enclave architecture to create the passwords, so then you don't have to rely on it on anybody else. That's just one example.
So,
But
Vijay, can you explain what is a token? As I don't know. What is this?
yeah,
Is it a password? Is it what is this token, and how they can
mm,
generate this token? Maybe something in Windows or in Mac OS also?
yeah. So on Windows, there's a couple applications that do it. I know Microsoft Authenticator can be linked to Windows as well. That's one example. All a token is it's just a representation of data. So that can be, a one-time password. It could be like that six-digit code that you get that says, "Hey, type it in," or it could be a number to an authenticator app saying, "Hey, you need to type in the number 21, and then I'll give you access." So when I say token, it's just the method at which it generates it, and the outcome produced would be classified as a token.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for this
Mm,
explanation.
that's all good.
And the most popular, I think now, it's biometrics.
Mm,
So previously it was Face ID.
yep.
Now it's like your fingers,
Mm,
right?
mm,
So if I use this biometrics for my smartphone, any laptop, any devices that I use, right? Can they copy these biometrics
mm.
and do like biometrics fraud, like SIM swap fraud, this biometrics fraud? Can they do that or not yet?
In theory, an advanced attacker can, but statistically, is it going to happen to you unless you're a legitimate target? Because majority of criminals are financially motivated. I believe like what 80% of all cybercrime is backed by the application of financials and money, whether that be crypto, whether that be power dynamics, information, or intelligence, or just credit card theft, right? And
Yeah, correct.
in saying that, could an attacker, in theory, get a fingerprint and then put it
Yeah,
onto some transfer paper and then put it onto the device? Technically, yes. But the main issue with fingerprints is that they degrade when left out to air, humidity. It's not a perfect one to one clone. Now, there are ways to enhance them, but realistically, if we're getting into that territory, you're more likely to piss off your national police and get investigated that way than a cybercrime group trying to take your fingerprints, right?
Yeah, that's interesting. Uh,
Mm,
okay, and let's say some students,
yep.
especially they interested in all this hacking,
Mm,
uh, like kind of old school. You remember all those games where you use
yep.
some special software like Chemax. It was very
Special
popular here
software.
in here. Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
where you scan your games and you identify some holes
Yep.
that you can use like Easter eggs
Mm,
to get access to hidden scenes inside games. Then they continue this, let's say, pen testing
yep.
with everything that they can.
Mm,
Same payment
mm,
systems online,
yep.
bank applications, neobanks,
Mm,
crypto wallets, crypto
mm,
exchange platforms, and finally, they have access.
mm,
Uh, I want to highlight here it's illegal access,
mm.
uh, but the thing is they really don't care, right?
So,
Because if they see it's easy and they don't need to work at the office like from 9 to 5
yep.
and earning some small amount just for living. So they involve in those groups,
Mm,
cyber criminal groups, and then they attack together some targets, some real targets.
yep.
They also develop all those malware
Mm,
and asking for some payments in crypto, in same bitcoins,
mm,
right? Then they can share some keys to recover data.
mm,
Unfortunately, very often they don't share any keys even after payment,
mm.
and they destroy, erase all data. Especially, I am upset with all those attacks for the hospitals,
Mm,
private clinics, hospitals, because this is life
yep.
and they know it's so urgent, so they usually pay
Mm,
from hospitals, from private clinics. But
mm,
I saw cases when it was too late and
yeah.
it was like
Mm,
death because they paid in that crypto, in bitcoins, but it was already too late to help those people. So this cybersecurity and information security, all this stuff about hacking, it's very, very important nowadays.
mm,
And what can you recommend to young people, especially students, if they interested and they motivated, kind of enthusiasts,
mm,
right?
yep.
So what they must focus on
Mm,
to be ethical hackers
mm,
on the right side, not the black hats and destroying everything, hacking
yeah.
all they want just for money or just for fun.
So, there's kind of two schools of thought. Firstly, I have the utmost respect for advanced black hats on the point of their technical ability. Because let's be honest, cybersecurity and ethical hacking, whether it's gray or white, there is an inherent level of challenge that is difficult, and we have to acknowledge that. Because if you don't, you're kind of removing what makes this field so great, which is the ever expansive frontier of knowledge, right? Now, that being
Yep.
said, this isn't 1992 anymore, right? It's not like there's no jobs in this field or cybersecurity just doesn't exist. There is. You literally cannot walk into a government office without at least three people on the IT team knowing that they have to do cybersecurity or having a designated cybersecurity team. And I mean, with how interconnected the world is for the past 10 years, there's really no reason to be a black hat, like genuinely, because cybersecurity people get paid very, very well if you specialize. Now, take me, right? I got into mobile security, right? And, you know, I had the option to do black hat stuff, right? Develop ransomware.
Sorry to interrupt you one
Please,
more
please,
time.
please, please.
What happened in your life? What was your motivation to
Hmm.
jump in this industry?
Yep.
Why you didn't start something else, like for example, software development, right? Just coding some application.
So, it's actually a really funny and stupid story. So, when
Yeah,
I was
please.
when I was 14, right? Absolutely loved the game Clash of Clans, right? Cuz my friends in my class would play it during our like lunch break and in the middle of, when the teacher really just wasn't paying attention. So, you know, being the broke for 14-year-old kid that I was, I'm like, how do I get gems, which is the in-game currency, right? So, what did I do? I decided to go onto Google and say, hey, free gem generator, right? And clicked the first link and downloaded whatever the hell it was. And turns out it was a drive-by download for Iranian Windows-based ransomware. But there was a logic bomb hidden inside of it that didn't detonate on my computer. It detonated when it connected to a bigger network. So, what is the biggest network that a 14-year-old kid has? His school. So, next day, walk into class, connect to the Wi Fi, and in about 20 minutes, all the Wi Fi stops working in the entire school. So I'm like, oh, that sucks. So then, keep playing Clash of Clans throughout the day. They actually had to send us literally running people across the classes with stacks of paper because none of the IT stuff worked. It was all locked out. So, the end of the day comes, I walk home, and, I'm watching a movie. It's like 7, 8 o'clock at night, and what do I hear at my door? Federal police open up. And I swear, there was probably 20 different people from counterterrorism, from uh, cybercrime, from 3 different police departments. We even had a freaking child safety team come out because they're like, what the hell is happening? And I still remember this like it was yesterday, right? These two friendly police officers, well, they were detectives, sit me down and they're like, Jack, hi, we're Detective so and so from Brisbane Counterterrorism. And what happened today? And I'm like, oh, just a ransomware attack, just no big deal. And they're like, yeah, did you cause it? And I'm like, no. And then they're like, then why does this have links to Iranian backed cybercrime groups? Like, are you working for Al Qaeda? And without missing a beat, I say this: listen, in this economy, you gotta keep your options open. One of them died laughing. The other one was looking at me like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? But, they took my laptop, my iPod, my microwave. Yes, they literally took my microwave. Um, got it back after 3 months. It was completely clean. It was just, forensics confirmed that it was a drive-by download. And then one of them, when handing it back to me, they were like, hey, here's a tip. Uh, you should probably go into cybersecurity because, like, you want to make sure that this doesn't happen again. And then that kind of how it got started. Like, really, that path was really a funny one, and it's a really funny story that I love to share. But
Yeah,
I definitely think,
interesting.
yeah, I mean, I definitely think that, people in tech, there's always that one story, right? Whether it's, oh, I broke a web page and I wanted to learn how to build it, or I just have a passion for something and kind of going forward into that. I think it's a really wonderful thing. But no,
Yeah,
how did you get
yeah.
started?
I know another story.
Hmm?
Like everything started maybe more than 20 years ago.
Yep.
Uh, all those uh, Windows, uh, let's say 98 and then XP and other versions with a lot of forums, chats, where people just communicate and discuss like daily routine, but same time sharing some interesting uh, software, kind of key generators or torrents where you can download not just pirate movies, but also you can download any cracked software,
Yep.
like Microsoft, like the same Windows. Then you can use all those stolen license keys to share with all your family, friends, same schools, universities. Unfortunately, it's still available, and somebody from those communities, like you
Hmm.
mentioned, different countries, they involved uh, to corrupt just smart people, unordinary smart people worldwide, and they are offering not only money but some benefits. Like it's about more about human factors uh, and social engineering. So they really interested to understand the behavior of that um, huge team member and motivate uh, and attract this person special way that they will spend time together, they will have some fun,
Yep.
they will communicate even better than real face-to-face friends.
Hmm.
So my idea it's all about this communication, psychology, and motivation. Not always it's about money. Very
True.
often, those team members they are coming from rich families.
Hmm.
They already have, I cannot say everything, but more than enough for comfortable life, and uh,
I do.
they just interested to do it for fun, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
to hack somebody, to
Yep.
to show like it's a superpower. Like, look, today we hacked some American military or government services
Mm.
or even security services.
Yep.
Next day they are showing the same with United Kingdom. Next day they are playing random countries in Asia, in Africa,
Yep.
like showing, look, this is Nigeria.
Mm.
We hacked someone, or this is a scam, a fraud that we sent in, um, let's say, the same India, because
Yep.
population is huge
Okay. Oh,
and they have millions of victims. And
yeah.
imagine that millions of those victims
Mm.
calling to their banks or crypto exchange platforms and saying, look, zero, we were robbed, we were scammed, we are victims. And who will refund? No one. They all wait in long time and they don't trust anymore to the bank systems, to the crypto
Yep.
service providers. So uh, I'm really interested to share with you, not today, but next time, a
Yeah.
little bit about first steps uh, in some tools for ethical hacking like Kali, Linux,
Yep.
Parrot OS, maybe same Black Arc, and it will be super cool in case we can show on different operational systems, virtual machines, like for example, I can show something on macOS,
Yep.
and you can show some virtual machines with all those Kali, Parrot, and Black Arc and other
Yeah.
uh, security operational systems on Windows, right?
Yep.
Uh, Maybe we will even show them some spicy tools
Mm.
that they can use for penetration testing.
Yep. And
But it's only about educational because they must understand behavior of real hackers. How do they penetrate? How do they identify vulnerabilities?
mm,
And how to understand in advance to protect.
mm. I mean, 100%. I'd love to do kind of a walkthrough and showing the multiple different cybersecurity OSs, and not just that, but kind of show off one or two uh, common workflows. Because while yes, I do pen testing, I'm mostly on the digital forensic side now. But there's always a couple of cool tricks that I can show, like brute forcing a WordPress page or cracking a password. Right? We all remember when we first have done that. And I think another cool thing is I can kind of show not just the workflows, but show how do you actually get the training? How do you go from knowing nothing to knowing enough to then working on images or cases yourself to then actually practice? Now, there's many sites, Hack the Box, Offensive Security, Try Hack Me, which is a fantastic one if you know absolutely nothing. I highly recommend it. But the biggest issue that I would personally say is I think a lot of the realistic levels of cybersecurity, they fundamentally need a little bit of background on other things like networking and technology, as well as just basic understanding of what is happening in the background. I mean, of course, you can just run commands, but I don't recommend it because then you won't actually know what's going on. And then when you're faced with a challenge where that command might not work, because let's say you're brute forcing a WordPress site, but there's a limiter on the amount of logins before it logs you out, right? Well, then now you got to think creatively, and that's half the battle. And that's actually what I would want to show in, in the next video if you're down with that.
Yeah, it will be perfect. And also, we can share some real cases, some real examples, what is going on, what's happening right now this year.
Yeah,
Like it's about uh, hacking, about
yeah,
some not only software but hardware, right? Same Flipper Zero
yeah,
or Wi-Fi Pineapple or any Raspberry Pi. We can
yeah,
show what is this and how really easy, super easy, I can say, they use all those tools to open the doors everywhere, like in
yeah,
hotels,
yeah,
in cars, or reading your traffic, your data in public places, right?
yeah,
Everything that they want.
yeah.
Just clicking some buttons and writing simple scripts.
Yeah, I mean, like, so for those of you who don't know what he's talking about, there's two really popular products. One of them is the Flipper Zero. It's basically a combination of the top five cybersecurity tools in one. So it can copy uh, radio frequencies and then copy them onto cards. So when you open your car or when you try to, let's say, swipe a access badge or key card. Another massive one is it can actually open up garage doors by just cycling through all the channels in the infrared spectrum before it finds the correct one. And another super awesome thing is the Wi Fi Pineapple, where that effectively acts as a Wi Fi router, but you can control it. So you can create a bunch of access points, people can connect it. Most commonly, this is known as a man in the middle attack, where basically you have the connection and the two people connect to you. And while they're sending data, you're intercepting it. So it doesn't matter if the data is encrypted in transit because they're connecting to your router. So you know where their requests are going to. So, I mean, it's a pretty scary technology, but the chances of being uh, maliciously targeted with a Wi-Fi pineapple are quite low. But there are some things that you can do, and I'd love to give some tips and tricks. And maybe we could even get into the mobile side in future episodes, like Android and iOS malware.
Yeah. So we can ask who will listen. Anyone who interested, please feel free to contact me or Jack, and we will prepare and share with you some interesting stuff for the next time.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, my email is always open as well as my LinkedIn. And if you guys just want to chat or a mentor conversation, or just, hey, what are your thoughts on X, Y, and Z? I'd love to share. And yeah.
Same I can say about myself.
Mm-hmm.
Always happy to talk and to help with what I can. So interested in networking, and this subject always motivate me to share more and more, and of course continue studying. This industry only growing.
100%. I mean, it's like what? 4 million empty cybersecurity jobs or something like that. I don't know. We've all seen the memes.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right, Jack. So I say for today, it's okay, right?
Yeah.
Uh, we'll be excited to continue next time.
Yeah. 100%. And I'm probably going to make a couple of videos showcasing how do you set up Kali, how do you set up a mobile security lab and actually kind of get the images and the training and whatnot, just to help out our users for the next time we do an episode. But yeah,
Okay, thank you, Jack.
that's all good. You have a lovely rest of your day, and the socials will be linked below for all of you guys to um, find and just connect, right?